London BCOR experience. I'm going to put the video right on me. And I would invite you to put questions in the Q&A function on the ribbon there, and we'll answer those as we go. I've got 3 of our ECHOS Global Ambassadors with us today. I've got Verena Weed and Andy Tran and Sophia Blankvort, who's just, they're undoing their videos there. They're the 3 of them. Awesome. Also have Whitney Sanderson here, who is the ECHOS Global coordinator. She'll do all the heavy lifting for us as we put the fall program in place. And really excited to roll this out and to get some super traction for the fall. We did do this program for the first time this last fall, and we had these 7 very brave students. I took this picture. Is that up? Can you see the picture or no? You can? Okay, great. So I am sharing the picture I took in December, just before finals week, of these 7 brave students that were basically in lockdown in London for the first few weeks of their program. Then they were actually able to move around England a little bit, and then they were able to move around Scotland and Wales, but they were still for the whole semester unable to travel to the continent of Europe. So they were locked on the island, and it was still fun. I said, how did you guys enjoy London? And they just said it was awesome. They never really got tired of it. They lived in some really wonderful housing that we're going to look at here in just a minute, and which I anticipate will be the same housing that we'll have for this next fall. We work with a company called Kappa, and we'll get into who they are and where they're located and what they do for us. We'll also get into the curriculum that we share, that will be shared with you. It's the BCOR fundamentals, essentially, and then I've also put in a BUS 3800 or 3900 course if you'd like to take that, and it's available for any student. So you don't have to be a business scholar to do this program in London. You just need to be finishing your freshman year and having done all the prereqs to sign up for the BCOR fundamentals curriculum, and then you're good to go. So we're seeing some things putting out on that the ambassadors are putting out on our chat bar, and you see there that we have put up this link, which is the ECHOS Global BCOR London. I'm just clicking into it now. BCOR London application page. On this page, which we just updated yesterday, and it needs to have a little more updating. I'm going to get into some specifics about updating that here in just a second. This is where your application is, and it's a pretty simple application. You just need to fill out the app and upload a copy of your degree audit report, or DARS. And the way you do that is you basically print to PDF, save it, and then upload it. I need the entire DARS so I can make sure you're qualified to attend. And then I ask for a resume. It doesn't have to be, fancy polished, looking for a job kind of resume. I'd like to see who you are and what your background is. And then finally, we have some essays. There are 4 essays, maybe not really essays, but just questions that I'd like to have your response on. And those four essays basically are, why do you want to do this program? And what can you bring to the program? And what do you expect from the program? The very first question, though, is what is your view of leadership, the #1 attribute? So it's kind of fun to kind of dig into those things. Okay, so this is the application page. It opened yesterday. We have capacity for 20 students. Again, we had 7 last year, but in previous years before COVID, we didn't do a program in the fall of 20. That was the only fall we missed. The fall of 19, 18, 17, and also we did 2 springs in London. We had, upwards of between 15 and 20 students, and 20 students is kind of the max. One couple of semesters, we had to turn some students away because we just were over full, but I think you'll find that 20 is a really good number. So getting down into some of the details, basically last year we had a cost of $14,000 and it was a little bit light on the cost. So I've increased the pricing to not exceed 16,000. What that means is it's not going to be 16,000 necessarily, but it will be something that or less. And it includes 15 semester credit hours of upper division Eccles business school credit. And we'll calculate that number to be about, I think, $8,900 is the tuition portion of the cost. And then the housing portion is another $4,000 to $5,000. It's pretty equivalent to what you'd spend on campus here if you stayed in a dorm here. And then the rest is program costs, excursions, and that. So I'll give you those breakdowns when we get confirmed. And you can then supply those to your financial aid office, and they'll be able to give you tuition assistance. I think the For Utah tuition or For Utah scholarship works, and I haven't found a scholarship that doesn't work yet. So their military GI Bill works. You're gonna have lots of good luck with that. So scholarships, great. I'll give you all the information you need for that. So here is kind of the important stuff down here, and I'm gonna point out a few things and make some changes. The application opened today. We're going to begin notifying students right after spring break of acceptance and next steps. The final application deadline of July 1st have actually bumped up by 2 weeks, so it's actually June 15th. We're going to change it on here. I need to get the names to our provider Kappa by July 1st so that they can onboard you. And then check-in London is actually Thursday, the 18th of August. Again, I'm making that change and it should be reflected here shortly. And then finally, the checkout in London is Saturday, December 17th. That's the Saturday following the finals week. And then lastly, the change that will be made is looking at the curriculum. The final course here, BUS 5880, we're actually going to offer BUS 3800/3900, not reserved for business scholars. Anybody that's in this program can take that, and that will satisfy the requirements that you have for BUS 3800 or 3900. And you can choose which one you want to do. It's the same class, but I have some flexibility with that. So then getting down just on some of the housekeeping items before we get into some more of the details on the curriculum, et cetera, and the calendar is passport requirement. You need to have a passport that is valid for 6 months after your last day in England. So it needs to be valid through December 17th plus 6 months. So we're looking at June 17th of 2023. If your passport expires before then, you'll need to get a renewal before you go. And so you'd want to hop on that very quickly because there's still a bit of a backlog for those passports taking, as this says, 10 to 12 weeks, and that's true. So we also have the pre-departure checklist, which is right here. You just click on this, it pulls up a PDF, and you'll fill that out and take it to your academic advisor before you commit to the program, so you know that you're okay to take these courses, BCOR Fundamentals and BUS 3800, 3900. I don't need a copy of that. You just need to get it signed by them so you have it, so you don't, if somebody says you weren't qualified to do this, you come back and say, look, you signed off on this. So we just want to make sure you do that. I've also put up my my email address so you can contact me anytime. And I'm happy to, meet with you one-on-one here in SFEBB 3175 anytime that's convenient for you, and of course convenient for me, but I'm here quite a bit. Maybe not. The ambassadors are laughing. I'm here a little bit. Anyway, we can certainly schedule a time. Okay, so I'm going to flip over now to the to an Excel spreadsheet that I use. Can you guys see that? Excel spreadsheet, ambassadors, you're good? Okay. These are the courses that are going to be offered in London in the fall. And this is the BCOR fundamentals program, basically 30-20, 30-10, 30-30, 30-40, 30-50, taught Monday through Thursday. alternating days. And they'll be, this will be offered as an IVC course. So it's all online, but live. And it goes live here in Utah at 7:30 a.m. on the Monday through Thursday mornings and concludes at 10:20 a.m. In London, there's a 7-hour time difference. So you'd be in your seat at 2:30 in the afternoon and conclude by 5:20 in the evening. This last year, we weren't able to take any professors to London to teach any of this live. So it was all IVC, and it was hard because students were, they were wondering if they really needed to be in the classroom together or if they could do this from anywhere. And I said, you really ought to be in the classroom together a couple of days a week, and I'll show you the schedule that we put together and what I'm going to try to continue this next year. But you will see in 2022, this fall, these professors actually traveling to London and teaching you live. I'm asking each of them to come over for at least a week, and then they'll teach back to Utah later in the day at our Kappa facility for other classes that they're obligated to teach. So you will see these good people in London for at least a week during the semester. So you'll have 5 weeks of live instruction, which is great. The final class that is an add-on here, BUS 3800, 3900, is going to be taught by John Travers. He's worked with us for many years, 5-6 years, and he does a fantastic job of teaching about the business culture, business climate, and all of the, basically consulting issues you might have doing business in the UK, and it gets into Brexit and all kinds of stuff, and it's a pretty cool class. So that is an add-on. That is at 9 o'clock in the morning until 1:30. I ask you to block some time out there on Tuesday and Wednesday. The effective time there is it's maybe one day a week for a couple of hours, and then he breaks you into teams. You do some legwork around London and around the UK, in fact, and then come back and do presentations at the end of the term. And it's just a lot of fun. It's not a hard class. Here is the close to final calendar is what I'll call it. So if you look closely here, Monday, August 22nd, classes start here on the Utah campus, August 22nd, 82222. We need to arrive in London on August 18th and check into housing that day. What that means is from 9 to 6 p.m. on August 18th, you will be instructed to move to Kappa's housing, check in, and get your keys and get a transportation card and get your orientation packet. And then the next morning, you'll transition down to the Kappa office on Cromwell Road, and they'll do a full day orientation, and you'll get acquainted with London and their facility and all that they offer. At that orientation, there'll be health and safety concerns. They're going to bring you into what they call their Kappa Guardian app, which is basically tied into your phone, and that you're able to communicate with Kappa all the time on any issues that may come up. Speaking of phones, you'll need to have an active phone in London. About half the students use chips that they pick up there. They do the chip cards and put them in their phones and buy a country code 44 chip. And that works great. And then when they come home, they just flip back into the US the chip that they have from one of their providers. Or you can just use your own phone from the US and get an international plan. But either way, you just need to have a working phone. So this is the calendar basically. The second Monday you're there will be a bank holiday. There is no class there at Kappa, so you would then just find a location to zoom in. So if you look down here in class location, I have Kappa Cromwell Road. Again, I'll show you where that is in just a second for a few of these days. And you basically have your choice on Thursdays to zoom in from wherever you'd like after the first couple of weeks. And that kind of broke down this last year too. On Mondays and Thursdays, you can make a choice. But because we're going to be more live this year, I think we're going to have to be a little more concerned about being in the classroom, which is they're great classrooms and very easy to manage. So this is our schedule. You have Fridays through Sunday free every weekend. That is your time. The instructors have you from 2:30 in the afternoon until 5:30 in the evening, basically Monday through Thursday. And then John, as I said, will have you 1 or 2 days a week throughout the term. But again, these are just placeholders. He really does only about a 2-hour class a week, which is great. And I think you'll enjoy it. We're going to put in some excursions during the time. So we have scheduled right now for the 30th of September through October 2nd, an excursion out to Cheltenham and the Cotswolds, which is a really cool area of England that is preserved. And there's a whole preservation mantra in the area, and it's awesome to go study that. And John actually lives in Cheltenham, so he takes us out there and we go through a whole bunch of cool stuff that he does out there. So that's an excursion that you'll be excited for. And then fall break, you're basically on fall break the same time that the Utah students are on fall break. Now, we'll say something about fall break. We are going to have 3 fall break experiences that are going to be offered from the business school, from Eccles Global, and at least one of them will be in Europe. Right now, I'm looking either at Spain, Morocco, or Turkey, Greece, and you're more than welcome to join one of those fall break experiences from London, or just have the time on your own and you can travel around. You can have family come over or friends come over, whatever works for you, but it's your time. So we'll get more information about the fall break experiences as we go, get closer. London goes off of daylight savings time a week earlier than we do. So I've just changed the dates or the times on these dates when they move off of daylight savings and onto standard time. And then the next week we convert back to standard time also. And that would get us back on track. And then there's a US Thanksgiving break. It's kind of long. You have Thursday through Sunday, and even Monday morning is what I'm looking at here. Last year, I set up an excursion for everybody to go out to Wales and do some oceaneering on the west coast of Wales. They were kayaking and doing some pretty cool stuff. I couldn't do it actually on Thanksgiving weekend. I did it the weekend before, but I'm going to try to be early with this. And if the continent is open, my plan was to go to Spain, and it's included in your price. And I think we're going to try to do that. We'll try to get to Spain or another location that you guys may want to do as a class that you prefer. I've taken students from London to Munich. We've toured the BMW factory. We've gone to Barcelona. We've gone to Sevilla, Spain. Actually went to Malta 3 years ago, which was pretty awesome. So we can kind of leave that up to you and then figure out where we can go. Well, there's a direct flight actually to Mykonos, Greece too, though. That would be kind of fun. I've done that before from London. So there's some good stuff going on. And then let me get down to finals week. Most of the courses, I think finance and accounting were the only 2 courses that ended up having anything in finals week. And they stuck to their schedule. So accounting had a departmental final, and it was in the morning in Utah. I think it was on Tuesday of finals week. And then the finance department stuck to its schedule, and that was 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday, which ended up being 8 p.m. in London, which was tough. And I begged the finance department to not do that, but they did it anyway. But as long as we're prepared for that, and you're ready, I think it's okay. It's a 2-hour exam. Hopefully we don't end up doing that again on Wednesday, and worse that we do it on Friday. But I have all that open just in case. And sometimes that departmental final stuff shows up on Friday, and I'm just like, oh no. They may be actually on the schedule, and I'll take a look now and see it on the U's website. But you will have housing through Friday night, checking out on Saturday morning. And it's literally just like a hotel. You check in on the 18th of August, you check out on the 17th of December, and it's your facility to use as you wish. Now, I'm going to stop share for just a second because I'm going to take a minute, and I didn't do this earlier, but I'm going to pull over here, and then I'll share my screen in just a second. I'm just looking at the housing stuff. Okay, I found it. I'm going to pull it up, and now I'm going to share my screen again. All right, let's see. And you should be able to see it right here. So housing details. If you want to put this down, I mean, this is, so I'm going to put this in. Whoop, I'm just going to make a copy of this and put it in the chat. And you're welcome to, Google map this. So this is one of two housing facilities in the same complex that we used this last year. One of the downsides was it was a little bit out. I mean, it was maybe 10 minutes further than I would like it, but one of the best things is it was amazing. I mean, it was brand new and it really looked like this and it was really nice. And I actually went over to the housing and did some study sessions for finance. I'm a finance professor on the side, and we had some great study time in these units. Really nice. The housing is basically one person per room or two people per room and twin beds. A couple of the rooms have ensuite bathrooms, but there is one main bathroom for all of the apartments. And again, no complaints. It was awesome. You might want to map it and kind of see where it is, but loved it. So let me just go back to that then. Let's go back to the map. Anybody have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. By the way, you will receive a QR code at the end here for passport points. The ambassadors have that, so hang in there with us for a bit and we'll roll those out for you. Okay, so let's go up here to the map. Everybody see the map? Yay, okay. This means nothing to you right now because the map is kind of squished down, but here is Kappa's headquarters, or London headquarters right here. And I'll zoom out here in just a second. I'm gonna put the little guy down here and just show you what that looks like. They're basically headquartered in some Georgian townhomes here. They're pretty cool. They're converted into business townhomes, and you'll see down the block you have hotels down here. I think there's another hotel that's down this way, and then some restaurants. But behind the red doors, this is Kappa, and your classroom is actually up in, I want to say it's right there is the classroom we're in, which is the global classroom. And very cool, very, very comfortable place to study. Now I'm going to go back and zoom out just so you can kind of get a context for where this is. This is in South Kensington on the southwest corner of Hyde Park. There's Kensington Palace. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful neighborhood in here. Incredibly expensive, very nice. You're on Cromwell Road. There's Boston University, in fact. Cromwell Road, which is one of the main thoroughfares through this part of London. There's Harrods right there, Cromwell Road, that's cool. The Gloucester Road tube stop is your closest transportation throughout London. And this has 3 lines that play into it, and they're all great lines. They're all very, very extensive lines. And you'll have an Oyster card, which is a tap on, tap off credit card type thing, and you just tap on and go, and it's completely included in your fees. It's unlimited within zones 1 and 2, so you'll be able to go pretty much everywhere throughout the London greater area into your housing, etc., with no issues. So most of the students would take the Piccadilly line, and they would go maybe 1 or 2 transfers, and they end up over here in Hoxton. I should probably just do that same chat, and I will do that, and we'll put it in here and see where we're located. Boom. So the Rosewood building right here, and again, there were 2 buildings right across from each other. Put the little dude down on here, and there they were across the street. Where am I? Well, they're right in here. Let's go down here. If we go, it's got a big circle going on, so not happening. Let me try this again. Let me step out of this. Okay, so let me put the little dude down again, and we'll see if we can get a little better look at this. There we go. Not incredibly sexy looking, but they're really cool, actually. I don't know if I'm not getting a good thing here. This is the This is the little lobby kind of central area. There's a nice courtyard in here. And right around this area, again, these are new and they're pretty nice. It doesn't look like the old England you're used to, but they're really nice. Right around the area, right down here, there is a grocery store and some restaurants and lots of infrastructure as you walk down this street. And the students were saying they went down to this place a ton. There was this little hole in the wall Chinese food restaurant, and that was all takeout. And they would make they basically spent a lot of money in their Taste of China. There it is, and they would just have to take out a lot. But just so you know, there is a full kitchen, freezer, refrigerator, washer, dryer. Well, washer, dryers don't work that well, but you have racks that they have a dryer there. You can use it. Also microwave and all that stuff. So you don't have to eat out. You can eat in all the time and save some money. And students do that. It's a pretty easy way to go. So that is the location for housing, and it's right on the train system. You would jump on the tube and zip down here to right in this area is the Kappa location right here. And by the way, next door to Kappa is Sainsbury's, which are all over London, and there are probably 4 or 5 different chains, but this is more like a Smith's, and it has pretty much everything a Smith's would have, or a Kroger brand. So okay, so here is London, Kappa's London Center, and I'm going to put this in the chat too, so that you have this as a link, and we'll actually put this out on our we'll put this out on the website too. So this gives you a pretty good feel for who Kappa is and kind of programs they have and what you'll see. They will have probably another 200, maybe 250 students that will be there from other universities around the country, actually around the world, and you will be housed with them. Not in, I mean, as far as housing goes, it's Utah housing, but you'll have people living in the same complex that are part of your part of your experience. Katie Cohn is the director. She's amazing, super great lady. She's very centered on students and will be there for whatever you need. Speaking of that, you will be covered with health insurance called CISI, and that insurance is very comprehensive. It covers anything physical, emotional, mental, anything you need. CISI will cover it. And if you get COVID, they actually cover that up to $2,000 if you have to go to the hospital. So CISI is very comprehensive. Katie and her team will help you find the right services if you have any issues. Let's say you break your foot or something and you're not comfortable having surgery in England because it'll have a long time to heal. So CISI insurance is there to bring you home for free. It's included in insurance. So you're able to come home and visit with your own doctors about procedures. So it's all good. It's really, really helpful. And Kappa will take great care of you. Kappa provides classroom space. They provide student services, all what we call pastoral care, provide all the support for faculty and faculty housing and your housing. So one other really cool thing is you walk into the Kappa Center and they have this podium by the front door. And on that podium, they have all these cities and areas around England and Scotland and Wales that have these tear sheets. You just pull them out, look at it, and it'll tell you how to get there, what to do there, the fun stuff going on, kind of the high energy activities that are happening in these different cities around the UK. And it's really great to just pull those and go for a weekend. It's super cheap to travel by train everywhere. I have a really good app I'll share with those students that are locked in here eventually called Trainline, and it's super easy to use that, and you can use it online, and it's hooked into your Apple or Android Pay, and it's all online. You just put your QR code out there and get on the train and go. The Kappa also does once every 2 weeks. They do trips that are sponsored by them that you can pay a little extra. They're not too much, but I know last fall they went to Edinburgh, they went to Cardiff, they went to the Isle of Skye, and a number of our students tagged in on those experiences, and those go with other students that are with Kappa, so you get to meet some great people. If there are any questions, let me know. I think there are a few of you out there that are in attendance that may have some questions, but if not, I'm just going to keep going. And we'll see what we're up to here. I just want to show you a picture. This was from my Instagram account. This was from December 12th or 13th. Was there taking a picture of these guys in front of the Tower Bridge. And again, we had 7 students. It was a little light, 3 Korean students. They had a wonderful experience. And then the 4 other US students, which brings to mind your visa. If you are a US student, Korean student, and many other, EU student or, an international student here, you don't need to do anything special for a visa. You get a student visa through Kappa, and you don't have to do anything. They'll give all the sponsor papers, and you'll be stamped in, no problem. And you can come and go for the entire semester. You may be an international student from a country that needs to get a visa for London, for the UK, and that's fine. We can help you facilitate that. So can Kappa. So should be pretty easy to do. There really is no country that's locked out for any other reason than the COVID issue. But again, that's dying fast. So hopefully we're going to be okay. I think that's pretty much it from my perspective. And again, if anybody has any questions, let me know. And otherwise, I'll put up that QR code and let you guys go. I'm going to end the recording right now. Again, unless anyone has any questions. Okay.